Hello and welcome to the MKAU show. This is the first episode of season 4. We'd like to welcome Subby, the main man, Big Boss Boy. We
Well,
got Bigfoot,
hello.
and we've also got Brashy. My name is Fletcher. I'll be hosting today's episode in absence of Staceface until she returns. So we're excited to see when she gets back. We've got a couple different topics we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about where MKAU is, some of the recent things we've been doing, some of the recent things we've been playing, what we've been watching. We've got the Batman, we've got Elden Ring, Sony, and Microsoft buying out stuff because I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. We've got a couple other things, looking at the Cyberpunk revival. So first off, I just want to find out how we've been, what we've been up to. Like, Subby, do you want to kick things off? Anything different we've been doing? I know you've done a bit of revival of like some of the things we're doing on social medias, with Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been trying to do something a little bit different on Instagram with the reviews. Because I just haven't really had much. I don't know what to post on the Instagram too much. So I thought I'd better do something with it. So I've been doing those little Instagram-y, quick...
The reels?
Not so much a reel, just... Well, it's a post, but have you seen it? Have you even looked, Bigfoot? Mate, get your phone out.
Just like a little advertising.
It's just a little
reviews.
Yeah, so Elden Ring has like just an image of something from Elden Ring, has a score with a quote out of the whoever reviewed it, and just post it up, and I also put it in the stories. It's just I don't know. A lot of other places do it, and I did start it, then I stopped doing it. I just need to be a little bit more proactive on it. Slack, a bit lazy.
It does take a lot of time though.
Yeah, it's just I've got a template. Yeah, it does look good. I've got a template there, so it's a little bit easy now just to change the image, the quote, and the score now. So still got to find time to do it, but it's a little bit quicker now.
Good.
So
what have you been playing this year anyway? Like, there's been a couple knockout games so far this year. Like,
yeah, look, this year I've started picking up. I've been picking up games to review myself again. I kind of miss playing. You guys are always playing all the good stuff, so I've kind of tried to find a bit more time to start reviewing again.
Yep.
At the moment, I'm playing Gran Turismo 7, which I think is out today or came out yesterday. I can't remember. Other than that, Horizon, Forbidden West. What else have I played lately?
Played a little bit of Destiny.
Oh yeah, a lot of Destiny in between that actually. Yes, I've just hit 1522.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm getting there. What are you, Brashy? What'd you get to?
See, you're saying words now.
Oh, okay.
I have
So you have
no idea. I'm
like,
I've played for like maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like fresh noob.
Well, yeah. So I've hit 1522. Finally.
Is that power?
That's the light level, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm at like 13.
You start at 1350, don't you?
Well, I think I am at 13. No, actually, no. I'm 1360 now. 1360. Yeah.
Ooh, watch out.
He's gonna catch up to you, right?
Because I remember I was at 1359, and for Witch Queen, it said you had to be like 1360 is the recommended. So like I grinded until I got to 1360, and then I started Witch Queen.
Yeah, I think they did good with Witch Queen so far. Pretty impressed. Pretty impressed. So slowly just grinding to that, whatever the hard cap is. I don't even know. What is it? 1560 or something like that? I don't know.
1550 is the hard cap, and then you got your pinnacles to get to like the absolute maximum of 1560.
I've seen people at 1566, 67.
Yeah, they've got the artifact, which is you can artificially
go a bit further,
leveling up. So like it just gives you something to keep playing for, which is good.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So playing a lot of Destiny in between reviews myself. So.
And yourself, Brashy? Like I know you just said that you're starting Destiny, but like what else has been keeping you going this year?
A lot. I was getting back onto Final Fantasy 14. But I've sort of had to put that on the wayside now because I've got Horizon, Forbidden West I've been playing, and then I've been sucked into Elden Ring, and I can't escape those clutches at the moment. And then I've just been playing a little bit of Raft and Project Zomboid on the side on the PC.
I've seen a lot of good things at a raft. Like that looks like just a good game to get on and just screw around with
Yeah,
your
well,
friends.
apparently this year they're meant to have the next part of the story come out because
Okay.
it gets to a point where it just sort of ends
Yep.
and like it's sort of left open, and yeah, apparently this year it's meant to continue on now. So
Cool.
yeah, no, it's
That's
a
good.
pretty fun game.
How about
Good to
yourself,
play. Good to
Bigfoot?
play with friends.
Have you, like, 'cause you played Raft as well, haven't you? Bigfoot?
No, I haven't played Draft.
Wake up, bro.
Well, Brashy was still talking about.
No,
Not
I
interrupting.
was just like, I thought you'd played Raft as well, so that's why I thought I'd ask,
Nah.
like, if you've done that too.
Nah, I do get into a little of the old survival base building games, but Pokemon's got me attention at the moment. The new Arceus.
Yep.
Or Arceus, if you're that way inclined.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
really
I've just
a
been
revival. Like this year, like the Pokemon game, and there's new ones coming out, which I didn't
I'm
even
pretty-
see coming.
pretty hyped for the Gen 9. Should be pretty good.
Nintendo
yeah,
seem to be releasing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting towards. I mean, what it feels like maybe the end of the Switch's life cycle. What has been out
Well,
5 years
it's
now?
longer than that, isn't it? It's still like 10-year-old technology in it.
Yeah, it wasn't the
It's
most
quite-
advanced thing when it came out.
It's quite dated.
Yep. So, I mean, I think that's some of the criticism that Pokemon Arceus had. You know, it was a really, really good game, but didn't look like it came out in 2022.
Yeah, but then you got to think about like the performance of the console compared to what they can do on it. It's
Yep.
like everyone wanted the graphics and stuff of Pokemon Snap in an open world game, like Pokemon Arceus is. It's just lacking a little bit on the graphics, but it's nothing bad.
No.
But like from the screen grabs and stuff I've seen of is it Violet and Scarlet? It's looking pretty good. It's looking like Pokemon Snap, but open world as well. So
Yep.
sure.
So yeah, that's exciting. I really didn't see that coming out that quick.
Nah.
I mean, if that was in the works, I must have missed it, but I didn't expect another one so soon.
Well, I think they're working on the two side by side. So
Yep.
I think
Yeah, I mean, like it makes sense. Like
Legends
it
Arceus.
it does feel like it's a separate project from everything else. Arceus, it feels
Mm.
like an experimental game.
That's exactly what it was too. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I haven't finished it yet, but you know, I had that. I had Dying Light come out. Like, you know, I was trying to finish both of
Yeah.
them before the Destiny expansion came out, and also trying to play Elden Ring.
The
Elden Ring is
the last couple of months have just been stacked for games. It's crazy.
It's good to see. Like
It's like these 3 months have been probably better than the whole releases of last year.
I mean, like Brashy's like as a PlayStation vet, like is probably super excited. Like, you know, that it's the library's growing substantially in the last couple of months. Like I feel like PlayStation have had it more than anything. Like they're just knocking out exclusives like crazy.
Excited but overwhelmed.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, I want to play all these games, and then now I have to try and find time to play all these games.
Just
Because I
add
know
it to the
you did
library.
the review for Returnal, didn't you?
Oh, I did, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was like that looked like crazy, and then Deathloop
So
came out.
good.
Like, you know, when I do finally get a PS5, it looks like there's a huge catalog for me to pick up, which is the best thing about the new generation cycle. I mean, PC gamer like yourself, Bigfoot, probably like, you know, what's a generation? We're still on PC one.
Well, I was originally Xbox, so
Okay.
I moved over to PC last year.
Yep.
So I was Xbox up until then. But yeah, just the performance, power, and stuff of a well-built machine, just you can't beat it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's good. Well, at least we've got plenty of games to keep us going through. But I guess the next thing that we should look at is what we've been watching, and the most recent, like, you know, thing that's sweeping the nation is definitely the Batman, like, which is a Matt Reeves, you know, production made with Robert Pattinson as the Batman himself, which didn't really go down super smooth, like when it was first announced, and there's been so many reworks and stoppages through COVID. Like, there seems like there was just so much involved in getting this movie off the ground, and coming in nearly 3 hours, it was an amazing like piece of work. Like, Subby and I were lucky enough to go watch it early, thanks to Warner Brothers Australia. It was one of the only movies that I've ever seen as an Australian where people were clapping afterwards, because I don't really think that's like a normal thing in Australia. You haven't seen it, have you, Bigfoot?
I have not. I've only watched the trailers.
Yep. So, but basically, we'll be talking about like reception and like how it links with everything else in the world and like DC itself. So we want to keep it as mostly spoiler free as possible because most viewers probably not going to have seen everything by the time this comes out as well. Initial thoughts, Subby, on like your experience with the Batman?
Well, I went into it. I'm not a big Robert Pattinson fan, so I went into it with low expectations, and I was wrong. It was very good.
So you're happy to be humbled, yeah?
Yeah, he did well. He did well. He did well. It's good that it's a lot darker than usual. So a lot of people are going to be a little bit surprised. I think going into it thinking it's going to be similar to past movies. It's just not. It's just so different.
Yeah. What about your initial thoughts, Brashy? Like, did
Yeah.
you go in with high hopes and come out successful, or were you the same? Were you a little bit cautious?
I went in a little bit cautious. Not because like I actually like I like Robert Pattinson, like especially like mainly the stuff he did after Twilight. Or the
What did
indie
he do
films
after
was in.
Twilight?
Water for Elephants.
Haven't seen that.
I was talking to Fletch just before about it too. There was another movie, can't remember the name of it, but it's really good, and I won't ruin it for anyone. But he basically brother goes to jail, and he has to try and break him out of jail.
Yeah. It's like
Basic
Prison
premise of
Break.
it, sort of in a way, but it's a bit more. His brother's like just like mentally disabled and stuff, and was wrongfully put into jail. So for something that he did, and I won't go too much more into it, but it's really actually really good.
Looking at his IMDb's, he's been pretty active.
Yeah, but
There's not a lot that's been, AAA stuff, I guess. I think a
like I
couple
say,
of stuff would go to movie festivals, like film festivals first, and
yeah,
then,
none of them
get
were
limited release.
blockbusters or anything. They're all like sort of indie films, and they're all really good.
Mm.
So it wasn't his performance I was too worried about. I was just worried about the whole DC movie trope
Yes.
in general.
Mhm.
Like none of them have really been like knockouts. Like I think the best one I've probably watched was probably Aquaman, and even that was a bit, yeah. But yeah, no, I was, thank God, pleasantly surprised with this movie, especially like after seeing the runtime. I was like, oh no, but for me it didn't drag out. It was nice.
No, same here. It just went really quick. Just felt like a normal movie length.
Yeah, like yeah, in between the action, it wasn't just boring chatter. Like they were always doing something to keep you engaged. So
Yes.
yeah,
Like overall, like it's had a very good reception. There's rolling like reviews, like rolling out of great reviews for it. There's always the couple ones that are not into it or like just not their cup of tea and stuff like that. But they were talking about the projections of it. Like they projected to be like a very successful movie. They think it's going to have one of the biggest openings like for a DC film, I believe. Like I don't think it's going to knock Marvel off, I guess, because Marvel has a lot of stuff that's basically their entire cinematic universe is sequels of one another. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts, Bigfoot. Like if you were concerned about it at all, and hearing like some good praise come out of it afterwards, like whether that's changed any opinions you've had.
Well, I go into all movies like not expecting anything, like with a clear open mind, especially with gaming ones, because gaming ones are really hit or miss,
Yep.
But I go in like without any prior, pretty much, research or anything, and I usually end up enjoying most of them. Because I don't have these high expectations or whatever. I go to watch it for the entertainment value. In saying that, I'm not a massive, like everyone else, not a massive Robert Pattinson fan. But it does look good from the trailers that I've seen.
Yep. I think the best thing about the Batman is that like it's not just the Batman. I think I covered that in my review. Like it's the world that they built there. Like the Batman's got some great villains and stuff and to pull from. And I mean, you can even see it from the trailers. How did Colin Farrell become the Penguin, like in the on-screen version that he is. Like it was mind blowing, and they were talking about he's actually having a spin-off show come out that's dedicated to his character, and that version of Gotham City is absolutely crime infested, gritty, like dark. Like it's probably the darkest version I've seen. I know there's certainly some comic books out there. Like I haven't read every comic book or gone down the rabbit hole on there, but I'm certainly excited to see where they go with the universe. I mean, it seems like they were the first ones to really start making campy, like hero movies. You know what I mean? Like a lot of their movies weren't too serious, like and that changed with Christopher Nolan. Obviously, like he brought in a huge difference in the Batman universe. With that, a lot more grittier version of it. But this it makes that universe look a little bit clean, in my opinion. But I mean, there's the DC shows like Peacekeeper. Like, has anyone else watched that?
Yep. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was so
Because
good.
that's a spin-off of the
Suicide Squad.
The soft reboot of the Suicide Squad. I still don't know how you place that. The Suicide Squad, it was a half reboot but half new
Half
movie
not,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, no, it was. I really liked Peacemaker because if you sort of like forget all of the like it being part of like DC universe and just look at it as a show, it is just funny. It's like The Boys.
Yep.
If you've seen The
Boys,
Boys,
such a good series.
it is exactly like The Boys except with like DC characters. And don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. I know.
I want to
there's
spoil it. At the end, they pull in some big names at the end. So, yeah. So that was also very funny at the end as well.
There's a piece of marketing that's going around that I don't know whether everyone's seen or not, but it's like when John Cena's character, the Peacemaker, was talking about Batman, and which had me rolling like with laughter. And as I said, I don't know whether like it's actually proper marketing or whether someone's just clipped it or not, so I won't talk about it. But like it's cool that they're talking about other aspects of the universe, but I don't think that this Matt Reeves one can tie into any of them, like in any of the previous DC products. So
yeah, well, according to Matt Reeves, this is actually in Earth 2.
Okay.
So it's not DC. I'm guessing they're going to put DC, the cinematic universe for DC, in Earth 1. So this is actually Earth 2 Batman.
Cool. That's cool. They've got a distinction of it.
Yeah. So they might tie it in with the Flash movie coming out, because the Flash movie coming out is all going to be all about Flashpoint.
Sure.
So if you've read the Flashpoint comics, or even seen the animated movie that they made, he goes back in time and messes up the timeline. It becomes a second timeline.
Because isn't Michael Keaton confirmed for that as a Batman as well?
I am not entirely sure, because like Batman, I went in without knowing anything about that. Like I barely watched any of the trailers, and if I did, I didn't have the sound on or anything.
Yep.
So we're not like I didn't even know Colin Farrell was in it until after the movie, and I saw his name in the credits. I was like, what the fuck? All right. So yeah, I went in with absolute fresh eyes. But yeah, like with all the new DC movies coming out, I'm sort of wondering if because at one point they're probably all going to be part of the DC
extended universe.
Extended universe, yeah, EU, yeah. But I'm wondering now if, like, say, what's Dwayne The Rock Johnson in? He's in
Black Adam.
Black Adam. That's it, Black Adam. I'm wondering if now they're going to try and make that part of Matt Reeves' universe instead.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because they're bringing because the new Aquaman's coming out. There's Flash, and then there's Black Adam. Other new movies that are coming out. So I wonder if they're going to try and push them more into like Matt Reeves territory, since like their initial universe didn't really blow up. Or if they're gonna like sort of just finish off with these last sort of Flash, Aquaman movies, and then just end it there and move over to Matt Reeves and let Matt Reeves build up a universe.
They should.
Because I reckon that would be the best option for him. Or even if with the Flash movie, with his Flashpoint, being able to like go through different times and make different timelines. If they make like the Flash bring them into that universe,
as a gateway,
as a gateway to tie them all in, to make them all now Matt Reeves sort of universe, and maybe bring Zack Snyder back in too, because Zack Snyder was
he's a very talented man. I mean, like Bigfoot, I don't know like how invested you are in multiverses and all that stuff, and like Marvel and DC and stuff like that. Do you think it's a good idea to separate universes? Like, are you fine with DC just bringing out movies standalone now? Like, do you think they have to connect, or you?
I really enjoyed it when all the Marvel Cinematic Universe connected. Like watching those post-credit scenes and stuff were always great. But yeah, I just watched, as I said, watch movies for the entertainment factor.
Yep.
Go into everything.
It's like all the tie-ins, like a bonus.
Because I remember obviously when the Marvel universe was really getting going and things were getting crazy, and they had an Avengers film, but they'd had a history leading up to that already, and the DC universe really tried to like jump into it real quick. Like, you know what I mean? Like when they made the Justice League film, they wanted to use that as a way to introduce other movies, and it obviously didn't go successfully the first time round. The second time round, the 4-hour version of Justice League, I actually loved. Like, I thought they changed so much. We spoke about that last year and stuff like that. But I mean, you know, for the longest time, superhero movies didn't have to link up. So I wouldn't mind if Matt Reeves' universe stays his own. You know what I mean? Like the only thing we got to worry about in his universe is Batman. We don't have to worry about like other things linking up to it. So,
well, in saying that too, you got the Bat family, like
mm-hmm.
The Bat family alone is like the amount of members of like the Justice League. So they can bring in like Dick Grayson as Robin, that goes into Nightwing, Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. They can bring in Batwoman, Tim Drake. Which one's one that dies and becomes Red Hood? Always forget his name. But yeah, they've got so many Batman family they can bring into it as well.
Yep.
But I do have a feeling that the Batman isn't actually going to be about the Batman. I reckon it's going to be more about his villain gallery.
Yep.
Because it seems to be a lot of origin stories, like you see Oswald, like the Penguin in this one, and you sort of see him before he is really the Penguin. Yeah. And so I reckon it's going to be a lot of like villain building, with just the Batman being there.
Yep.
So, and just one other point on the Batman that I really enjoyed. I like the fact that it's not another origin story for Batman.
Yeah, they were pretty clever the way they went about it. Like, you know, with giving enough reference to it without boring the audience to say, "Oh, look, someone's going to die again. Oh, it's his parents. Whoops."
Yeah, like they it gets mentioned on like news reports and stuff, but you don't have to, because I think nearly every single Batman franchise like has the origin as their first movie, and to start this one off in the second year, I reckon was very smart.
What I thought was funny was, like, I said to Subby after we finished the movie, I said, you know, would this movie have been the same with Ben Affleck or Christian Bale and stuff like that? Do you guys have a preference, like a favorite Batman, or like, because Subby said Christian Bale really didn't do it for him?
I don't think so.
I honestly agree with Subby too.
Yeah, I just don't think any of them did. Like, Ben Affleck to me was the closest Batman-ish sort of Bruce Wayne guy combined. The others just, you know, George Clooney, nah.
Yeah,
Christian Bale, nah. I don't know. They just didn't.
Adam West.
Oh god, Adam West. Like, it's like they've like, it went from like Adam West as like this comedy, just funny ridiculousness, to like the George Clooney and the what's his name? George Clooney, Michael Keaton, and
Val Kilmer.
All those were sort of like
just weird.
Yeah,
Val Kilmer one was the first one that I
funny, trying to be serious, but then trying to be funny as well. Like with like the Batman buddy credit card and everything like that, and
Yep.
like they tried to be sort of like half Adam West, half what sort of Batman is now. And then you had Christian Bale, who was good, but for me, he just didn't fit in as like Bruce Wayne Batman. And like
I think
I really hated his voice, to be honest. Everyone's like, "Oh, I love how he goes, or has a really deep voice." I'm like, he didn't need to like scream, "I'm
That's a good thing
Batman"
that I
all the
like
time.
about Robert Pattinson's version. Like Robert Pattinson just had a voice, like he just sounded
Yeah,
human.
like he didn't have to like go real deep. He was just like he just sort of deepened his voice a little bit when he was Batman, and then when he was Bruce Wayne, he like was sort of more recluse and just more quiet, like
Yep.
more soft spoken, and that was enough to like not be able to distinguish the two.
Yep.
But I did like Ben Affleck's Batman, but I reckon instead of bringing him in with the rest of the heroes, when they just started the Justice League and Batman's a fucking 50-year-old man,
Yep.
they should have made Ben Affleck's Batman when he actually in some of the animated and comic books when all the heroes get
Batman.
retired. Yeah.
Yep.
When they all get retired and only Superman's left working for the US government. And,
I honestly thought I don't know whether anyone's seen is it called Batman Beyond? Like is that the one where like
with
there's old
the
Bruce
animated?
Wayne and then there's a young one?
Yeah.
Who's the character's name for Batman Beyond?
Can't remember his name. I believe it starts with a D.
Because when I initially heard that Robert
Darius or
Pattinson was
something?
coming on, I thought it would be a great opportunity, like exactly you said, get Ben Affleck to be old man Bruce Wayne and bring in him as the Batman Beyond character. Like I thought he was, Robert Pattinson's young enough to be able to do that. Like I don't know, I think they've all been about 30, when they first took up the mantle. But
Yeah.
I thought that would be a good segue for that. But I'm happy with the results, and it seems like everyone else is. Like it's been widely accepted as a really good Batman film. Like it's a lot of people are praising it, saying it's the best one. I honestly can't say it is the best one, but I mean, I think it's the best best Gotham that they've ever done for sure.
I have to I have to say Dark Knight's probably the only still winner for me, and that's purely only because of Heath Ledger's performance.
Yeah, I go back to that one.
Yeah. Because I really like Heath Ledger in that, and Heath Ledger I think is probably the best Joker there's been so far. But oh god, this really is tying for first for me. But I just want to ask you guys, how did you guys like the music?
That was amazing.
Like especially like all the entrances of Batman.
I could listen to this to the soundtrack of that film, and it would just get me like hyped. Like it would keep me motivated for anything. If anyone gets a chance to listen to the original soundtrack, even the theme song, it's on amazing.
Spotify. It's on Spotify now. But and like the main Batman theme for Batman makes it sound like he's a serial killer, and that's the thing I love the most. Like he walks in and then it's not like, oh, here comes Batman to save the day. It's like, oh shit, here comes someone who's gonna mess everyone up, and like even the civilians are like probably gonna shit themselves. So that's the thing I like the most because it really brings out like, whereas like the Christian Bale Batmans, he returned and then all of a sudden was a kitted out Batman who could fly around the city and do all this shit, had a big ass Batmobile, like this, like it was more like, oh shit, here comes a dude that's been doing this for a year, still doesn't know exactly what he's doing, and has like all these like gadgets that are just half made and not properly built. And,
he's a work in progress.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I liked the most about it. It just felt way more grounded than.
Yeah, I sent to a friend. It seemed like the most realistic Batman. Yeah, like none of this weird like gets home and already has like everything sorted out, and like in one montage has like all these working grappling guns and throwing batarangs and stuff like that.
It's interesting, like the way you're talking about that, like because I think it's a good segue into our next topic because I want to talk about the Sony acquisitions that they're doing. For a little background information, Sony has bought out Bungie, and Bungie have infamous, or not infamous, like they are famous for creating the worlds of Halo and also creating the worlds of Destiny. They're lead has actually taken a step back, and he was doing a bit of behind the scenes stuff. Wanted to get into more media presentations, and Sony buying it seemed like the perfect home for it. I mean, we're about to see the Halo TV show, which is like a Xbox or Microsoft product. So there's exciting stuff for that. That's this month. We've just had the Uncharted film. We've got The Last of Us coming out. So it'd be interesting to see if they can manage to build off anything with Destiny. I mean, I honestly think that Sony's trying to diversify their thing and bring a lot of gaming stuff over to the big screen as well, like as well as in TV show form or whatever.
I reckon Destiny would
Has
make
anyone
for a
seen
good
the
movie.
Uncharted film?
No, I've not seen it yet.
I still haven't seen it, but I mean, that
neither.
didn't get a good reception from what I can read about it. I'm not going to make a judgment on it until I see it, but they
from the few
from-
friends that have seen it of mine, they've said it was pretty good.
Mhm.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I've heard it's mainly it's mainly people who expect too much, like expect it to take the exact path of the games and whatever, that give it the rating bombs and everything.
Yep. I mean, like, I honestly don't think that it deserves any like ill will against it. Obviously, it's a bit of a pill to swallow. When you initially see Tom Holland, seems like young, but I guess that it makes sense in like movie world, because you need a character to be able, like an actor to be able to keep with the franchise, because that's something that you could keep doing forever. Like that's just those games itself are just popcorn fun. They're giant set pieces that lead to stuff, and they're really well written and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see how they keep going with that. Is there any other Sony products, or sorry, IPs that you would want to see follow that same path?
God of War.
Do you think it's wise?
I reckon a really good God of War TV series.
Like
with
TV series, yeah.
With games going to movies, the only problem is they're trying to fit so much stuff into like a 2 or 3 hour section, and they're wanting to do it like one time. But if you made a series out of it, you could fit in so much more lore. You could fit in just so much more.
I think games translate better in TV shows. Like you said, you do a little bit each episode instead of trying to jam it all into one, and it just looking like it makes no sense.
Yeah,
they miss so much stuff, so much important stuff, when they're just putting it straight onto the big screen.
So it's interesting, like you said, that you phrase it that way, because I'm using the Halo show, for example, that comes out at the end of this month, and they've admitted that they're not going to follow the games. They're making their own narrative. Like there's a lot of things in there that is not going to line up, and and I'm happy that they've admitted that up front. Like they have said that that's how they're going to handle like the show, like that you will go in there and there will be new stuff, as opposed to us thinking, how are they going to translate this to the game? Like, are they going to keep these key moments? Like, do you think that's what they're going to go through with The Last of Us, or do you think they're going to follow that beat for beat? Because that's a universe, like it's a zombie universe. We've seen a million of them, but
who's
the
in The
best
Last
thing
of
about
Us?
those is Pedro, the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's got a thumb pretty much every pie at the moment, eh?
Yeah.
He's doing quite well. Yeah. Pedro Pascal. Is that his name?
This one.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think that, and they also had someone else from because he was in Game of Thrones, but they've also got in the young leader from that. Like she led the factions in that show.
Oh, the bear girl.
Yes.
From the Bear Clan, they get like that stabs the giant in the eye. Yeah, that was fucking sick.
Yeah, she's going to be playing Ellie, Joel and Ellie. So I think that's going to be pretty good casting. But I'm fine if they want to change the story a little bit. I just think that it goes down a lot better if they say that going into the film.
See, I think
it's going into the show.
I think it's like, and that's probably the difference between the Halo and The Last of Us, because The Last of Us is purely like a story-driven game.
Yep.
So if they were to like deviate from the actual Last of Us story, it's probably not going to go down too well. Whereas like with Halo, I think they have a little more leeway to do their own thing without it like ruining everything. Because really, like realistically, there are people who really like the Halo story, But I know for me, Halo was only fun when I was like playing multiplayer with friends, and we're just shooting each other. That was it.
So you'd be less offended if there's something different in a show like Halo as
Yeah.
opposed to Last of Us.
Though interestingly, when I was at Batman last night, there was guys behind me talking about the Halo TV show because it came on
Oh, really?
the previews.
Yep.
And they were actually, the thing that they were talking about most was the fact that Cortana and Cortana voice, it wasn't the same as the game. And they didn't like the actual Master Chief's voice. They thought it didn't. They thought it didn't suit him, and they were the biggest gripes that I heard them talking about behind me. But yeah, well, I'm not really even sure, but
yeah, it is the same voice actor for Cortana, but it is a different representation of her, which I'm fine with.
So it is the same voice? Because they were saying that apparently it's going to be a different voice.
Yeah, so it's the same voice actor. Like I won't delve into the Halo lore because I could talk about that for hours. But Cortana is made as like the way they make AIs in the Halo universe is there's actually a dead person. They use their brains matter and actually create the AIs in them. That's why those programs don't last that long and they go rampant, which is the stories in the other Halos. So it'd be interesting to see what they do that or not, because in this one she's created from a clone. Like like Dr. Halsey made a clone of herself and then made that, which is the reason why they might be talking about that, because I think Halsey is going to be a different actor, like a different actress.
Yep.
So normally they should be played by the same person, but they can't do that in that.
Yep.
But yeah, like as I said, I'm happy for that they go forward and do it that way. Has anyone played Ghost of Tsushima?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be a movie. I'm pretty sure. I remember whether it's going to be a movie.
Sony buying all these places just to make movies. Did they buy Bungie just so they could do a Destiny movie?
Well, Luke Smith is admitted that like he stepped away because he wanted to make content. Like Destiny used to have these live action ads, which I don't know if anyone's actually seen. They were really cool. I really like them, but they're a bit of campy fun. That is one of those things where I was like, there is so much back lore on that. You can do whatever you want with it, but again, it's kind of like, well, how the hell are you going to do something that justice when it's got that much history behind it? Imagine trying to make a Final Fantasy TV show.
Yeah.
That would that would be a nightmare. I mean, speaking of shows as well, I think Paramount, I don't know whether they're, no, it's Amazon. They're doing the Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah.
That one's
coming out soon.
It looks good in my opinion. They're obviously going to deviate a little bit and create their own laws, but they've recasted a couple of people, which they're not exactly happy about. Like they didn't bring back Hugo Weaving. But again,
that's not good.
I suppose he is an elf and he's like going to be old as shit now.
Yeah.
He's somehow gotten older.
Is Sean Bean going to be in it?
Can we get you in there, Bigfoot? You're local.
Sorry.
Are they filming it in New Zealand
though? I think they're actually using the technology that they did with the Mandalorian. I don't know if anyone's seen the behind the scenes with that, where it's just like a giant
big screen thing. Yeah.
I think a lot of it is going to be done with that, so they can do that remotely. But I do think this is
what the series is called.
Ring of Power.
Yeah.
So they've recasted some of the people. They recasted Galadriel as well, as a younger version. But a lot of people are arguing. They go, "Oh, well, they don't need to be younger versions because they're going to look the same no matter what." But if it's going to go for a while,
since the elves, I get that.
Yeah, but then again, when did the Lord of the Rings come out first with Hugo Weaving, and how long has it been, and how old is he now compared to when he was?
It's interesting because a lot of people
Luke
were
Skywalker
upset.
Shit.
A lot of people were upset with the actress that they've cast for Galadriel, but she's the exact same age as Kate Blanchett was when she first played Galadriel. So I was like, it's a pretty spot on casting, in my opinion. I'm excited for it, but I mean, there's so much lore and history in that as well that you could do whatever you want with it, whether people are going to widely accept it or not. I mean, you're never going to have a one-to-one translation between games and a movie, or books and a movie. Like it's like Subby was saying, it's such a small window to cram like something in, and then Bigfoot was saying like it's better to go on as a TV show. So
Yeah.
What was
And
everyone's perception of The Hobbit? Because I mean, I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I feel like the Hobbit films were fine, but not as good as Lord of the Rings. So
like
I
my
don't
favorite part
know.
of my favorite part of like the Hobbit movies is when they're all in that river in the barrels and they're fighting in the barrels in the river. That for me was like that was just because it was funny as shit as well.
yeah,
But other than that, yeah, like it was good. But yeah.
because I mean they're going to sink a lot of money into this show, so it
So
depends. Like I wonder whether there's going to be a lot of big set pieces, or whether you think it's going to be very political. Like Game of Thrones has big set pieces, but you think about it, there was a lot of political talk in that show. There was a lot of slow one-to-one scenes of like motivations and stuff like that. So,
Backstabbings and
but Prime is doing really well, I reckon, at the moment in like the sort of TV shows and movies that they're bringing out. Because like they got because
I'm
what they
excited
got
for the boys back.
the boys, yeah, the boys. They've got
when is that coming back?
hopefully soon. I think
I
it
know
was,
they're done filming.
yeah, they finished. They finished like
Yeah, they
last year.
finished the filming. Yeah.
But yeah, they got like the boys. If anyone's seen Reacher
I haven't
at
yet.
all,
I've heard good things.
that's really good. I
That's
finished watching that.
that's
And
just
that's
a
just
Tom Clancy book, isn't it?
I'm not sure. Not a
No,
Tom
Tom
Clancy book.
Clancy's
It is a book
is
though.
Jack.
It's the Reacher
Oh, what's
series.
a Tom Clancy one?
Tom Clancy is
Jack Reacher, not just
Jack
Reacher.
Reacher's. It's it is Jack, but it's something else because
Jack. It's something Ryan. Jack Ryan. Something Ryan.
yeah,
Yeah, this is Jack
because
Ryan.
John Krasinski played it recently.
And it's a TV show series,
in the
wasn't it?
TV show, yeah.
Wasn't
And
that
I
Prime
think
as well?
I'm pretty sure that was also Prime
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but yeah, Prime like having the Critical Role animated TV show, which was really good as well.
Yeah,
Like
Jack
Yeah,
Ryan.
Jack
Jack
Ryan.
Ryan,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what it is.
That's right.
Yeah, so Prime's has a lot of like
good
good
value.
shows and shit coming out at the moment, and like as much as you might probably want to hate Amazon because of all their bullshit, but
Yeah.
they are doing really well in the TV movie scene,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, sort of
I,
excited
f-
about more shit
I,
coming
f-
out.
I feel Netflix has dried up quite a bit with all their content too.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's
Like
just the same old shit, really.
the only thing I'm excited about because I've watched the first episode so far is the new Vikings.
Okay.
Vikings Valhalla.
I never got on. Is that a link with the old Viking show?
It's like 100 years after the Viking show.
Okay. That was one hype that I never got into, like of the Viking series. I was too invested in Game of Thrones at the time, and I just couldn't watch both of them at the same time.
I got into it because of Travis Fimmel, the main character in it, because he actually grew up in Rochester. That's near Echuca in Victoria, where I was born.
Right.
And he actually went to school with like my older sister and my older brother.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, I'm like,
getting freebies
my
out
sister.
of
it? No. But because my sister is what got me onto it, because he's like, oh, I went to school with a guy who's in the new Vikings TV show. I'm like, oh, I might check it out. And then I start watching it, and I just got into it.
If you ever pull any strings, I'm sure Kurt would love to interview him. So I'll pass that on. Say something.
I'll ask my sister and see if they're still in touch. Yeah.
One of those like old friends that reach out for those pyramid schemes. Like, hey, want to come in for an interview? No, that's good.
So, but yeah, it's really good, and it's on Netflix. But I think at the moment that's pretty much the only thing. Like the new Disenchanted series come out on Netflix, but I've sort of lost. It's just another fucking Simpsons.
No, it's not. I think Netflix has still got a strong future, but Netflix used to be the home of like a lot of companies coming to them, and now every company's doing their own streaming service. So
yeah, well,
they're losing the big stuff.
All the Marvel TV shows are on Netflix and now going over to Disney. So Netflix is losing a fair bit. But yeah, Centaur World though, Centaur World. It's like a Adventure Time sort of show on Netflix.
Okay.
It's just random as absolute all hell, and it's so funny. I recommend that to watch.
I'll hit you up after this. So remind me, because I'll probably forget by the time this finishes. But keeping mindful of time, like I guess like the biggest thing, outside of the Batman and all the different things we've been watching, Elden Ring has absolutely exploded on the scene. Like I really didn't see the reception going this wild. Like I have played a lot of hours, and it's really hard to put down. Like I've been trying to level up Destiny just so they get ready for the new raid, but I just can't stop with Elden Ring. I think we've got a pretty divided podcast here at the moment because I know Subby hasn't, can't get into it as much.
Oh, I just haven't played it. I'm not really a Souls guy. I don't. I'm no good at them, so I don't bother.
But that's what I find really interesting about it. Like I've just worldwide, like I'm just seeing so many people saying that this is the first Souls game that they're picking up, and a lot of people are loving it. Like it's really sweeping the nation at the moment. Like, have you played it all, Bigfoot, or any plans to? Or
Elden Ring, I wouldn't mind picking it up.
Have you played any previous titles from them?
I've played Dark Souls 1. I've got Dark Souls 2 and 3, but I haven't finished 1 to play them just because of a massive gaming backlog. But yeah, I enjoy them. I enjoy it's a really good game to watch though. Watching people struggle and slowly lose their minds 3-4 hours into a boss fight.
Yes. See, that's what I enjoy. I said
it just doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, I love watching people go through the pain. But I don't like them wandering around. I don't like them wandering around not having a clue where they're going or what they're doing though.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel you've got to watch people who have either played are good at the game and watch them struggle, but actually like because they are used to these games, they'll just progress. Or you watch the streamers who only go for the bosses purely for the content, and you watch them for 3 hours just pull out their hair.
Yeah.
So, but like then you got like the noob sort of people going in who are like just walking around trying to avoid bosses so they don't die.
It's just boring.
And just don't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's really interesting because obviously there's a lot of praise for it. Like there's, I think it's already saying that it's one of the highest rated video games of all time on an average scale. It's really fun for myself because if I get stuck, I can just walk the other way. And in the 3 hours that I walk in this way, there's something's going to happen every minute. There's something organic, which is really cool and really fun. Stace, and yourself, brought up a really good point that there's still review bombing going on. A lot of people are upset that this game is getting a lot of perfect scores. Like it's getting a 10 out of 10. We gave it a 10 out of 10. And I still don't understand how it happens or why the mob mentality happens so much. I don't understand what they're going to gain by really
nothing. They're just
bombing
bored.
the crap out
it's
of
just
it.
so common for every game now. Anyone who gives it a high score, they're like, why?
They just disagree.
Why?
Yeah,
your views don't match mine, so
it's just common.
It's pretty much the cancel culture, isn't it?
Oh, it
seems like it.
I hate the cancel culture.
Just kids are bored.
Oh, you don't like it? Then don't play it or don't watch it, and just walk away. Like,
because I feel like most of the review bombing is happening on Metacritic, I believe, or Rotten Tomatoes, and stuff like that. But I know Steam has a system where you have to own the game and have played it before you can put up a review on it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it.
So
yeah, that's surely with Metacritic you can link your accounts, and as long as you've played it, you're entitled to a comment on it. Otherwise, it's just you have to find something else to do.
Yeah, it just seems really strange. I don't know what the plan is, or what are you going to get out of rallying the forces to review bomb a game and bring the score down, average down. I guess there's some people I'd like to talk about that and everyone else's opinion. I feel like this is just shy of a perfect game. It is not the perfect game because there's a huge distinction between that, because this game is not for everyone. It is difficult. It is much more accessible in terms of Souls game, but definitely difficult.
Yeah, I do like how open it is compared to the previous Souls titles.
Yep.
In the Souls games, if you get to a boss, do you have to beat them to progress?
There is an element of freedom in the previous games. You can go to things out of order to an extent, but predominantly, yes, you are locked behind certain things before you can get.
I think that's the only thing that would get me to play Elden Ring is the fact that I can't beat this guy. I'm going to go do something else. I'll come back later once I'm leveled up. I think that's why I'm not currently not interested in playing, but probably would get me to play it.
Yep.
I'd come back to the hard guys a little later.
I've seen people post up on, that they've been 50 hours into the game and they haven't even gone to the first. Yeah. They haven't even gone to the first temple. Like they've beaten bosses, but yeah, like there's also a limit of that. I know there's like criticism that was going around the gaming industry saying that for a game this size, to only give a week early access to try and get it played, not many people finish the game before they put their review out. It is one of the games. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, you can get out and just go straight for the boss if you want. Elden Ring, as long as you beat 2 of the Elden Lords, you can go straight to the end of the game. So you can do that. But I mean, yeah, like the freedom behind it is great. I'm just looking back in history and stuff like that. For previous, perfect score games, the Breath of the Wild is on there. Like The Last of Us 1, was a really good one. Super Mario Galaxy 1 as a perfect score as well, which shows the dynamic, when it comes to these perfect game scores. Even Deathloop last year, that had rolling 10s across the board and stuff like that. Forza Horizon.
It's because all these games did things that are a little bit different too. Like Deathloop, that was the mechanics in that game were very interesting. I think that's what stands out for some of these high review scores.
And I believe 10 out of 10s. 10 out of 10 doesn't mean it's a perfect game. If it was a perfect game, I reckon it'd be 11 out of 10. Means it can't be beaten. It's shot above and beyond. 10 out of 10 just means this is probably one of the best games right now that you could probably play.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than it being the perfect game. I think in all.
I mean, I don't think anyone knows what a perfect game is anyway.
Yeah, and perfect is, I reckon, a non-starter. Nothing is ever perfect.
What's the closest game to perfection that each people have ever played? Bigfoot? What would be a game that you would classify as the close to as perfect experiences as you've ever had? As a personal preference, not as what you think everyone else likes, just as what you would personally say.
Are we ultimately just telling you what our favorite game is?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
And that's what you're asking, technically.
Yeah, and that's what I want to know as well, because that's what people can't seem to separate when they have these arguments. They just think of their favorite game as opposed to a perfect game.
I've got 3 that come to mind.
Yep.
Which would be the Gen 3 Pokemon series. It's Pokemon Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy X.
Yep.
And Modern Warfare 2.
Yep, that's good. That's awesome. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Diversity in the picks behind it, because they all would obviously strike you in different ways, because you're not really doing 360 no scopes in Pokemon Emerald. I mean,
you sort of can in Legends Arceus.
Yep.
360 off a cliff and throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon.
Because that seems to be the defining factor when people review bomb these games, right? They're review bombing it because it's not their favorite game.
Exactly.
It's not their favorite, and they've got nothing else to do.
Yeah, and there's with the Elden Ring, they probably played it for an hour. Couldn't get past the first boss, or keep getting killed by the minions or something, and then just threw their hands up and just started keyboard warrioring it. So
yep.
Game's too hard.
They haven't even played it.
Exactly.
They haven't even played
a Souls game is too hard.
Yeah, they probably haven't played a Souls game.
They haven't even played it.
Oh, jeez. I'm terrible at the game, but I love the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a fact that even though I'm admittedly terrible at the game, but I've managed to beat that first horse. That's all the rage and everyone's being annoyed about because I can't beat that first horse.
The big tree
I beat it. It took me a lot of hours, but I beat it. But yeah.
Have you faced General Radahn yet?
I have.
Oh, is that to do with the big staff and the white sword?
No,
at the castle?
He's in the desert.
Oh no, I haven't been out there yet.
You'll know him when you find him. That took me by surprise.
I'm on a 0 death run in Elden Ring so far.
Nice. Keep it rolling. But see, it's interesting in that, because obviously Subby's saying that he doesn't like Elden Ring, but he can still respect.
No, I'm not saying I don't like it at all. I never said that. I'm just saying it's not my.
You don't. like the
It's not my thing
experience.
to even be interested in playing it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely don't hate it because I can't say that I've not played it.
Yep. Because I mean, like when I think about a game that like really stood out for me in my childhood, like it's not the best Need for Speed. Like obviously Need for Speed Underground 2 was
Oh yes.
such an amazing experience for me, and like it's a racing game. You know what I mean? Like they traditionally like get praised for graphics and then not much more, but Need for Speed Underground 2 was such an amazing experience and stuff like that, and I would rate that as probably like one of the greatest racing games of all time.
I liked Hot Pursuit.
But that's more of a personal preference
Yeah, I
because I
was
just
thinking
love
Hot
them.
Pursuit or Most Wanted, whichever
Most
one of
Wanted
those.
was definitely
Probably
the
Most
high
Wanted
for
from
the
there. Yeah.
The 2005 one.
yes,
The
the
original.
original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Original. The one
Yep.
that was broken on PlayStation 2 and then they had like what was it during the last race? When you're
With the
evading the
BMW.
cops. Yeah, when you're evading the cops, at one point the game crashes. There's a hard
Yeah. Okay.
break in the game, and then they released a new version of the game called the Black Edition. I think that fixed that
Yep.
problem.
Yep. I do
Mm,
remember that. Yeah,
that was such
like
a good game.
those two games were phenomenal for me, and I don't play racing games anymore. I know Forza continually releases like banger after banger, and Gran Turismo like it looks amazing for me, but I'll never reach those heights again. So for me, that was a perfect game
See,
in 2005.
I haven't posted my review for that yet because I got it really late. But
Mhm.
like Gran Turismo hasn't released. I haven't played a Gran Turismo game since like I don't know, PS2, 3 maybe. I don't think they released one
Mhm.
for the PS4,
Gran
did they?
Turismo 4.
I don't know.
That
It
would
was a
be the
long
last
time
I
ago.
played.
Anyway, this game is just it's like borderline. Like I thought Forza Motorsport and stuff were pretty good, but
Mhm.
man, it's like sometimes you just like, is this a game or is this actual real? Like
I've always
it's
found
like
that
it's
funny
such a
though. Like
weird.
whenever they've had like the new generation of games, I've always found that the racing games are always like the ones you show in the trailers, like to showcase your console. It's always been the racing games. Like they just every single time I'm always like they can't do better, and they always do.
Dude,
It's
this
amazing.
game on the PS5 is insane.
Mm. No, that's
How
good.
how do those interiors look?
Insane. The whole thing
Right.
looks crazy. I don't know what it would look like on a PS4, but on a PS5, just
It looked like Minecraft on a PS4, wouldn't it?
don't know. It's just you just look at it now and you just think, can they make like it's literally almost looking like it's real.
Mhm. There's it. I don't know whether it's that or not, but like I saw like a trailer for a MotoGP game on PlayStation that literally blew my mind because I saw it and I just thought it was a GoPro footage from a motorbike.
I don't know. Bigfoot, didn't you do a motorbike game recently?
No.
Who did one? Someone did one recently.
Yeah, someone did do one, but I don't think it was on PlayStation.
I did a MotoGP game last year for Xbox, which looked really good.
I don't know.
Like don't
Might
get
have
me
been.
wrong, but
Maybe I'm thinking about that one.
yeah, so like I did the pro circuit one, which still looked amazing. It was Series X, but there's like trailers that are coming out this new motorbike game. I need to find the name of it, but it
Well, I
is
think that's the
phenomenal.
new. I think that's the new MotoGP one. It's like
Yeah,
22
I'll send you
or
I'll send
something.
you the link when after this subby if you want to try and put a little bit of footage up on during like this part. But that blew me away. So yeah, that was incredible. Um, but yeah, so like that's what I like about gaming and just opinions about games and stuff like that. Like I don't understand why we have to review bomb someone else. Like someone else can be playing Gran Turismo, and I'm not going to jump on there and review bomb it because I'm not going to play it. I don't understand the mentality. It blows my mind.
Like, unless you got legitimate criticisms,
Hmm.
like there's no reason to give the game shit.
Yep. So I guess that's a little like I mean it's a loose segue into in the next topic that I want to talk about, which is just like the Cyberpunk Renewal. Um, that game was the epitome of hype for the longest time. Like I remember before the game came out, you couldn't turn a corner, turn a page, turn on the internet without hearing about Cyberpunk and how spectacularly that failed. Like when it launched, like it just fell flat on its face. It's been what a year and a half at this stage, and it's finally had its
Is it a
quote
year and a
unquote next
half?
gen upgrade. Yeah, like I think it came out in 2020, like in September or so. I mean, like we're 3 months into 2022, Oh no, November 19, 2020. So yeah, it's been out for a year and 4 months or so.
Yeah, 4 months. Almost.
It's funny
because
because
that game was dead.
Yeah, it's funny. I look at Elden Ring and the hype around it, and then I look at Cyberpunk and the hype around it.
Mm-hmm.
Got all these perfect 10s, and if they just held off for one more year, I reckon it would have got perfect 10s too. Because it's like it's just been relaunched. It's such a different game.
I bought Cyberpunk during the Christmas period, expecting like an update to come, and it never came, and then it just dropped like randomly. I think it was in the middle of February, like it just came out, like they announced all these updates, and I booted it up for the first time, and it's running really good on the Xbox Series X. I have friends that are playing it on PC that have gone back because they started playing it and they finished the game. They said there's a lot of issues and stuff like that, but they said it looks gorgeous on the PC, like especially going to I think it's the Chinatown like section of the game, where it has a lot of like the floats that are all digital. They said like it's phenomenal when you can do that. I know the gameplay of it. Gameplay of it was pretty solid from what I can understand beforehand. I think the main problem was just a lot of issues with pop-ins and people doing weird things and stuff like that. I think police used to just pop in behind you when you're in a chase and just kill you from the get-go. But
yeah, it just had so many bugs, crashes, and glitches, and it was a mess on launch.
So,
but it's good on them for sticking with it and actually polishing it up too. If only, as Subby said, they waited.
They just waited one more year.
That's the thing with these big companies; they need communication.
It's a perfect example of just keep delaying it. Yeah. It's not worth all the drama they had. CD Projekt Red went through.
Did any one of you play it on launch?
I started to, and then stopped because literally, I had an issue straight off the bat where the mission just wouldn't progress, and I had to just go back and save. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to wait for the next gen update. Sure, it took over a year, but here we are. Got it ready to go. I'm going to start playing it from the start.
I was tempted to start it before there was an update, but I was worried I was going to play this and it was going to turn me off the game. So I've waited this long until I actually got to play it in a completed state. I think it's like a good credit for what Elden Ring's done. Like Elden Ring launched and it just seems done.
But I believe it's not just a code of paint and fixing bugs either, is it? Bigfoot, do you know much about? They've added like
they've added content.
They've changed UIs, the way guns and bits, and also they've changed the game.
The one thing that I read was that the romanceable characters, I think that will send you nudes in game.
I did read that.
That's the one thing I read.
A year and a half perfecting nudes.
That's all Bigfoot took away from it.
Yeah. I can't remember anything else from the article, but that's
Yeah, no, I did hear that. No, they changed the UI and a whole bunch of things.
Did this update for it? Was it like console and PC wide, or was it just the PC version?
Console as well.
It's only next gen.
Next gen.
Because they've actually admitted that a lot of these updates didn't hit the older generation, which is where they see the most issue. Because a lot of people haven't upgraded, so they're still on PS4 and Xbox Ones. But the crowd density thing was a big thing.
When they did the update, I'm like, oh, I'll try it out now since I've got it updated, and I played it. And I had like a few crashes. It completely shut my PS5 off at one point.
Is this recently?
Yeah, this is from the new update. I was like, oh shit. Wow. I've had my motorbikes they'll like ride over a cone or something, and then they'll get stuck.
no. Like looking at it, it updated the Xbox version and the PC version. I don't think the PS5 version is quite there yet.
Yeah, so I say they might have added in the new content for the. Actually, I don't even think they've added in the new content for the romances.
No, because I do remember that.
Let me have a look because I did post up an article about it at the time.
Yeah, in your article, you posted that, and then when after I read that, I checked my console, and on the Xbox Series X, it has like the little XS symbol to show that it's the next gen version of it, and I do believe that they didn't update the PlayStation side of things.
Yeah, because I got it, and then after not too far into the game, like it crashed, I'm like, oh, that's a bit
Well,
weird.
it says that the patch was available for console and PC, and the next gen visual support came out on PS5 and Series X.
Okay.
So yes, apparently.
Yeah, because
So
I've had at one point, I was worried about my PlayStation. At one point,
so the visual upgrade came out to next gen consoles, and the patch was applied to all platforms.
yeah, because like my console just bang shut down, and I was like, oh shit. And then like I was trying to turn my PC, with the controller, I was just trying to turn the PlayStation back on, and it wouldn't turn on. I was like, oh buddy, if you had fucked my PS5, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Just go down and buy another one. Oh, you can't.
Oh my god! I was like, if I had like, I'm like, nah, they're gonna be sending me a new one. But I had to actually just press the on button on the actual console itself. Like I couldn't turn on with the controller. I was actually turned back on luckily.
So your console got cyberpunked.
yeah. So like I had a bit of like heart palpitations for a bit, but yeah. So I still played it, and like it was fun after that. I haven't had any trouble with it after that, but.
Do you think it's like the things that I always think about with this type of stuff is that I picked up the game for $20.
Yeah, I same here. That's why I got it.
It's a free. Is it a free upgrade?
It's a free upgrade.
So you can just you can buy the so you can get the game.
Do you think that's enough though? Do you think that's enough for the people that went through all that, like and got through this like disaster of a launch and stuff like that for a year and a half later? Like I know there was a while where they took it off the PlayStation Store completely, like that you couldn't even purchase the game.
I think they took it off a few of the stores, didn't they?
No, just the PlayStation, I believe.
Steam as well. I'm not too sure, but I mean, I can only relate to Halo at this stage. Like Halo Infinite came out with a lot of great success. I don't play it at the moment. There's nothing left to do. Multiplayer, it can only carry it so far, but there's no forge, like so you can't even customize your own stuff. There's no co-op in the campaign type thing. Like that game kind of launched, and then they said, "Oh, we'll give you the rest later on." So I mean, until the rest comes out, I don't know, like whether I feel like I got my full money's worth out of that game. But the multiplayer is free, I guess. I just feel for the people that went through all that hardship with Cyberpunk, and probably have a scarred memory of it. And even with these free updates and the game running a lot much better, why would you come back to it?
Yeah, they probably still won't play. It's a loss of faith in the franchise, pretty much.
Yep.
Okay.
So I mean, like that game's had the reverse. Like it's had a set of bombs, like a positive review bombing, compared to the original. The original was marked very low from what I can tell, and recently there's a ton of user reviews on all platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, just flooding in saying how great the game is, and everyone's praising it, from start to finish, the story and all that stuff. And I just thought, was the original launch that bad that they, wanted to review bomb and just say the game was, beyond saving, as opposed to looking at what was still good about the game? Because the story hasn't changed.
They did the same thing with Horizon. Like the Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West. Yeah. Like everyone, like it's still like it's getting better now. But yeah, straight up, like first day, it started getting review bombed. And it's like, how can you bomb a game on the first day? Like, yeah, and like most of some people are like complaining about the fact that Aloy has chin hair.
Has what?
Chin hair. Like the little white hairs you see like on the ears and stuff like that. Like oh yeah, we'll put on all this massive detail, and then someone's like, oh, she has a beard. It's like, yeah,
how dare you put so much detail in video games?
Oh my god, yeah, like just because I've been playing it, and like it's absolutely stunning. Like like looking at the character designs and everything, like all the characters look really fleshed out, and yeah, like the fact that because that's the first news report I saw on it was like getting review bombed because she has facial hair. So, you gotta be fucking kidding me! Like, are people that bored? Like, oh my god,
that's what
gets people locked in their homes still.
Oh, it's just baffling, like what people like the shit that people just come up with.
Yep.
Like, if you got that's all I'm saying. If you got nothing else to say, then don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
But then they got nothing to do, bro.
I am happy that Cyberpunk is getting the praise it deserves.
It is a fun game.
I don't necessarily think that. I mean, given what came out last year, if you did delay it a year, it probably could have got Game of the Year last year. I mean, like in terms of like all the different game award shows and stuff like that, like MKAU does like a more generous version. I feel like like we get like a whole selection of different things, so we can express everyone's different views on the games, and then you have the Game Awards, which kind of seems like a popularity contest. But I mean, It Takes Two won the Game of the Year last year. So if Cyberpunk released as a full-fledged edition that wasn't broken, that could have swept the awards last year, for 2021.
Yeah, I don't think anyone didn't enjoy the game itself, the story. I think it was just
performance issues.
I just think the bugs and performance issues just unfortunately a little bit weighed in a little bit more than what. Yeah, it overshadowed the game itself, fortunately.
I mean, like, I'm just happy because CD Projekt Red did so much, to build up that, unbreakable reputation that was destroyed in a matter of seconds. So it's good to see them get back because they put in a lot of work. I mean, like they've been, they created the Witcher series, and brought it from like humble beginnings to probably one of the highest rated RPGs of all time, or games for that fact. I mean, a lot of people consider that a perfect game.
Yeah, like it'd be definitely top 5 for me. Witcher 3 specifically. Yeah,
definitely got the best mini game in it for me. Gwent. I love that game so much.
Gwent.
The standalone release of Gwent wasn't as great as the ongoing Gwent.
Nah, definitely.
I played the beta for the standalone Gwent, and that was a lot better than what it is now. They've just changed it too much from what it originally was in the games.
Yeah, I got the mobile version. I had the mobile version. Played one game and was like, "What is this shit?" Then I just deleted it.
That's a great game. That's a fantastic game. But like you said, it was better in its natural environment. It seemed to be better. I've still never finished The Witcher to this day, and every single time I boot that game back up again, the only thing that makes sense to me is Gwent.
Yeah. So I don't know how many times I've jumped back into it, and I've played it for like ages and ages and ages, and I'm like,
always come crawling back to Gwent.
And then I'll come back to it and be like, oh, where did I leave off? I can't remember. I'll just start again. I'll get through it this time, and then I'll just do the same thing over and over again, get to like the same point, then stop, and then start again. But the fact that I keep coming back to it and I keep wanting to start it over again, I think, is the reason why it's probably one of the best games around.
Yep. I mean, like we've in the last 10 years, like we've been blessed with a lot of good content. Like when we look back in hindsight, there's a lot of stuff that we as gamers were probably super harsh on, and then we keep running into those slumps where we feel like I remember the good old days, but we've had some really good days in the last 10 years. Hopefully, like this, the fact that we're a bit further in the next generation, we're going to keep getting better releases and seeing Cyberpunk's revival. Maybe some companies are going to spend a little bit more time before they release a game. Maybe because I think a lot of pressure does come from their producers, wanting to get a finished product and get money back. But maybe like them seeing enough of these games being released with issues that take that long to fix, probably isn't the best move. So no, that's always good.
The thing is, people are always happy to wait. But if you release something that's like as broken as that, that's when people start losing faith and trust in your company. All they had to do was communicate with everyone saying, hey, this is still in a pretty shit state. We're not going to release it. We're going to delay it even more. People still get upset a bit, but
people are going to be upset either way. But they're not going to be as pissed off as they are when it's unplayable.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the initial, what would be the initial release, the hype would still be there.
Yeah.
As opposed to now with all the new updates, everyone's like, it's Cyberpunk, but
I do think it's been interesting seeing like a lot of people were hurt with this Cyberpunk launch. Like the hype really hurt them. they went full ham in it before the game came out, and then there was that entire year of nobody being excited about anything. I think that's worked well for Elden Ring because that game was not hyped before it came out, like to the levels that it is right now. It's a reverse situation. The game came out, and then everyone was like, okay, cool, like it came out complete, and then they got hyped about it. So a lot of people will seem to be gun shy after Cyberpunk.
I'm getting hyped about the new Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise game because apparently it's meant to be very Dark Souls esque.
Oh yeah.
But it's also got an easy option.
I think I've only seen the cinematic trailers of that, so like I haven't seen actual gameplay if they have any.
I think people are playing the beta now at the moment. And apparently, you can either play it like as if it was Dark Souls, or play it as if it was like a Devil May Cry sort of hack and slash adventure game. So I reckon it should cater to a lot of people because if you want to play something like Devil May Cry, then you can just jump in and start hack and slashing. Or if you want something a bit harder like Demon Souls and Dark Souls and
is that coming out this year or?
Yeah, it's coming out.
I think it must be soon because they did ask me about it, so I don't think it's too far away.
3 or 4 months, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's the one Redgrave keeps going on about.
Yep, because I haven't looked into too much about what's coming out in the rest of the year. I know that we started the year with a really good lineup. Like it was like February alone was probably like a bigger month than November last year with all when you usually get the big titles. So here's hoping that we're in for a big year and that everything keeps going up and getting better from here on out.
My watch list half launches full on my PlayStation. I have some alerts saying, "Hey, this game's coming out soon. Hey, this game's coming out soon."
What else is coming out soon? The only one that's on my radar next is is that this year?
I believe it is.
Which one?
God of War.
Oh yeah,
it's still got 2022 hash as the release window.
I have a feeling,
but I don't think there's.
What was delayed till next year? There was something delayed till next year that was meant to be out March. It was a reboot of another game, an older game. Stalker, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Stalker was delayed till next year.
That was the Microsoft one, yeah. Yep. Stalker 2.
Stalker.
That looked really good, but looked like a Metro Exodus type game. Like I played the original Stalker, so I'm a big fan of that one. But the way that they were, doing the gameplay style trailers, it looked like a Metro Exodus type game. So yeah, hopefully we get some good good launches because we certainly started the year off on a good foot.
Yeah, well, because we got Strangers of Paradise, the new Final Fantasy Origins game, and then there's also Final Fantasy 16. 16's coming out. Then you've also got the Square Enix's new game Forsaken coming out.
Yeah, Forsaken.
Yep.
Then you got, I'm so excited for Tiny Tina's.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to mention.
I'm super excited about that because the new Hogwarts Legacy. I'm actually kind of excited about that. The open world Harry Potter game.
That's pushed the next year though.
Oh, is it? That's a bit of a shame.
Oh, the other one I was thinking of was pushed back was the Suicide Squad game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty fun. That looks pretty good.
Even though I'm more keen for the other one.
Gotham Knights?
Gotham Knights.
Yep. Yeah, both of them are pushed back.
No, isn't Gotham Knights still this year?
Not sure.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure
it's been pushed back a couple times.
I'm pretty sure that's still this year.
Yep.
I don't know. Tiny Tina's on my next list. I played a fair bit of it in the last 2 weeks. I just want to play the full game.
Is it going to be multiplayer? Or is it just single? Pretty sure it's multiplayer because the other one was multiplayer. Yeah.
Multiplayer.
Yeah.
I would love to see the battle at the end of the year if God of War 2 does release this year, going against Elden Ring on what happens to that. I mean, the last From Software game, Sekiro, was almost a unanimous game of the year, when that came out, because that was 2020, I think it was. It was the year after God of War. It was Breath of the Wild, then God of War, and then I'm pretty sure it was Sekiro straight after that. So From Software's pretty high standards right now. So
We've also
But,
got Sons of the Forest coming out in.
The hell is that?
That's the sequel to that Survivor, isn't it?
That's the sequel to The Forest.
Oh, yeah, that looks. I love.
Yeah, that looks really
games.
good. It looks.
So it seems like after this year we're in for a bad time.
Yep. But yeah. Oh well, we've covered a lot of different topics. We've covered like things that we're watching, things that we're playing, things that we're excited for, and things that like have come to like a full revival. Like so, thank you very much for tuning into the very first episode of season 4. Stay tuned to MKAU. We got a lot of things in the works, and we got a lot of new people on board that are doing different things. Different reviewers and plenty of exciting stuff. I mean, potentially like new streaming stuff, but I don't know whether I can talk about that yet. So yeah,
Yeah, you
looking pretty exciting year.
start to see some new faces on here as well. Instead of our ugly mugs every time.
Exciting times ahead.
So,
any closing thoughts from anyone?
I'm all good.
Yeah,
all
right.
I think we covered.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.
See ya.